let's just say a boy works at a car wash and he gets paid 50 ringgit a day. 50 ringgit a day, and he gets plus he gets an incentive. Okay, so this is the arrangement the boy has with the owner. Now let's put some values here. Okay, now the incentive is based on the number of cars that visits the car wash. The more car that comes in, the better the incentive. Now let's say on day one he receives 50, plus on that day there were many cars at the car wash, so he received an incentive of 10 ringgit. Okay, so in total he receives 60 ringgit. Okay, now on day 2 he gets his daily wage of 50 ringgit plus, and let's say there were not many cars that came to the car wash, so he received a little bit less. Let's say he received only 5 ringgit for that day. So now he receives 55 ringgit. And let's just do one more. On day 3, he received his 50. He came to work, so he received the 50. And on that day, the business was good, very, very good. There were many, many, many cars. So he received 15 ringgit as his incentive. So he gets 65 ringgit on day 3. Now, you can see that there is a pattern emerging here. There's a pattern emerging here. The 50 that he receives is fixed. Okay, he does not vary. He comes to work, he washes the cars, he gets 50. It does not matter how many cars he washes in that day, he still gets the 50. But this is interesting. He has been receiving varying amounts of incentive, depending on the volume of business for that day. So this is varying. So if I want to write this as an idea, as an expression, I can say that boy receives 50 plus incentive. That is an expression that gives me an idea of how to generalize this. Now, I can even make this more interesting by saying that the boy receives 50 plus, it's kind of a lot of work to write incentives every time. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the lead alphabet of incentive I and use that as a way of representing incentive. Okay, so I'm going to use this alphabet to represent incentive. Now I can use any other alphabet to represent this, not necessarily I chose I because it is the first letter of incentive, so I can use A, or I can use X, or any other alphabet. It does not even restrict to alphabets. I can also use symbols if I want to. I can use a star to represent the varying amount of incentive that he receives, or I can use maybe a smiley if I want to. It does not matter actually. All I needed was a symbol to represent the incentive that he receives. So let's go back to something more intuitive, that I'm going to use I as the value. So 50 plus I is an idea or an expression will help me to work out how much the boy will receive. Now, how does this work? Now, let's take this here. Sorry, let me change that. So it's 50 plus I. Let's say let's I equals to 20. So how much would the boy receive? it will be 50 plus, I'm going to substitute the I for the value that has been given. So now the boy receives 70. Now let's say another day. It's not 20, but let's say it is, let I be 3. It's I be 3. Very poor deal, poor business. So it's 50. I'm going to substitute the I with 3. So it's plus 3. And the boy will receive 53. Right? So this actually demonstrates the idea that we can use a symbol, we can use a symbol to represent, use a symbol to represent an value unknown value, which is known as a variable in the universe of algebra. I hope that explains a little bit about a variable and how we use alphabets or symbols to represent the variable.